Books and babysitting. I'm going to share some of my favorites, so stay tuned. Hey sitters, welcome back to another video. It is Lydia. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to share some favorite books of mine with you guys that I like to read while I babysit, and talk about why or how we can keep them interesting while reading them to children. One of the books that I really enjoy is There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly, and I enjoy this book a lot because we also have an activity that we do with ours, and this is the old lady. If you remember, I did a video a couple videos ago about a read and recreate, so you read the book and do an activity with them. But this old lady actually swallows all the animals that are in the book. I have little stuffed animals that I put in there, and as we read through the book, she grows and eats those animals, and the kids absolutely love it. So there's the Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly, but not only that one, I have a different version. I Know an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Pie, and it's about the Thanksgiving version. So she swallows a pie, and then she swallows a turkey. There's like, it's all geared towards Thanksgiving. So I like to pull this one out when we get closer to Thanksgiving time. All right, the next book that I have is this How to Draw People's book. So in here it has different illustrations of people and how to step-by-step draw them. A lot of my older kids like this book. I don't let them draw in the book. I let them grab a separate piece of paper, and they can either put the piece of paper over it and trace, or they look and then draw on their separate piece of paper. And this one's a fun one to show them. If you really break down how to draw a person, they end up being a bunch of different shapes put together. Some of my kids are really into drawing and crafts, so this one's a fun one to bring out when I know that that's their interest. So this one's a great one, How to Draw People, or any drawing book really. I've got a ton of them, but the people one seems to be a hit for some reason. Another book in my favorite stack is The Little Red Hen. It has such a great message behind it. It basically teaches kids that if you don't pitch in or you don't help, you don't put in any effort, you don't reap the rewards. So the Little Red Hen found a wheat grain, and went and planted it, and nobody wanted to help her grow this into bread. Basically at the very end of the book, she's baking bread and nobody wants to help her. All the animals say, no, I don't want to. But by the very end of the book, when the bread comes out and it's smelling really nice, she asks, like, who is going to help me eat this bread? And everybody said, I will. And in the end, she basically says, no, you guys didn't really pitch in, so I'll eat it myself. And it's a great message for kids to understand, like, when we put in or help or put in effort, or we collaborate on projects, the outcome, you're able to share the outcome as well, or have a piece of that outcome. So I really like this book and the message behind it. Another one of the books I love is This Crazy Hair Day. I did do a video on this one as well, talking about how you can do fun activities with the kids after reading this book. And in the book, they have Crazy Hair Day, or so the little boy thinks he has Crazy Hair Day at school. He shows up. It's not actually Crazy Hair Day, but he's the only one with crazy hair. And by the end of the book, everybody else decides that that's going to be what they want to do and pitch in as well. And they have a class picture with all these crazy hair styles, and the little boy's not alone. Another book in my favorite stack is The Night Before Summer Vacation. It is a little twist on The Night Before Christmas, and it just goes through and talks about everything that they need to get ready before they go on this vacation with their family. Not only do I love that it's about family and spending time with family, but it's also summer, so this is a great one to pull out during that season and talk about vacations and what that means and looks like for different families. So, summer vacation. All right, these next three books are more of an educational book style. The Inky Winky Spider has a series. This one talks about the numbers, this one talks about the alphabet, and this one talks about the colors. And it is just a spider, and it goes through and talks about numbers. And you see them all over the page. You recognize them. I like to have the kids point them out. And it's just a little adventure that the spider goes on with the numbers. So this, like I said, this one's numbers. So he goes on a little adventure. He talks about the ABCs in here. And he is drawing all over the house. So it's just a great book for when the kids are learning and being introduced to numbers, colors, and the alphabet. So those are great. So this one's The Cat in the Hat. Everybody knows this book, and if you don't, I don't know where you've been. I love this book. So I don't know if you'd be able to hear it, but it is raining outside right now. In Florida, it rains for 20 minutes and then it's done for the day. As we approach summer, it starts to rain a lot. And I love this book because it talks about using our imagination while it's a rainy day. So if you haven't read this or have seen the movie, it's a movie now. It starts off by the kids sitting in the house and it's raining outside and they're basically wondering what they're going to do. It's too cold and too wet to go outside. So they talk about basically having a miserable day or not wanting to have a good day because it's raining. And the Cat in the Hat appears and talks to them about everything that they could do and imagine doing in the house while not going outside. So imagination is really like promoted in this book as well. Using your imagination, coming up with different ideas and fun stuff to do. So I really like The Cat in the Hat. Now these next two books are just really fun books to read with the kids. This first one's Take Me Out of the Bathtub. The second one is Still Here in the Bathtub. So they go together, but they're a book of a bunch of poems that are just silly. The drawings in here are silly and interesting. The words, the poem itself. So I really enjoyed reading this with all the kids and having them point out different pictures and just different things. And then they're also read to the tune of different children's, what are they called? Lullabies. So this one goes to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat, and it's Go, Go, Go to Bed. And again, the pictures are just so interesting, and they really enjoy just soaking it up. So there's those two books. So when I take one, I take both because they're a hit with the kids. And then I have these I Spy books. They're always entertaining. They're older, so they have been used. There are some ripped pages in here that I had to tape back together. But that just means that they're loved books, and we like to go in there and find all of the things that we need to find. It's like a look and find book as well. But these are just older versions. They're a little trickier than the ones that a lot of my kids have, so I'll bring these for especially the older kids. But I've got 4 of them, so there's 4 different versions. So if we get through a book, I got 3 more that I can bring if the kids are really enjoying them. So those are the I Spy books. And then this is one of my favorites. I know I just gave you a stack of my favorite books, but Picking Miss Pickle is about a lady, Miss Pickle, who is very picky. And I identify with this book because I was a very picky child. I would not go out of my comfort zone at all. So when I work with picky children, I like to read this book to them because it helps them kind of get an idea of why it's important to try outside of our comfort zone. So Miss Pickle is a lady who is stuck in her ways. She wears the same color. She eats only pickled flavored stuff. She wears just green. Her whole house is the color green. When she goes to the zoo, she goes and sees the same animals. She doesn't try any new hairdos. Her dog doesn't get any new hairdos. But by the middle of the book, she's having dinner with her niece, and her niece, they go out, and she asks her why she won't try anything new. By the end of the book, her niece gets her to try something new, and she ends up loving it. So it's just basically a book about saying, like, you don't know if you're going to like things unless you try them. And It's true, because I went through it. So I like to read that book to my picky eaters, and hopefully they get the idea. My younger kids maybe not so much, but my older kids do. Some other ideas I have for you guys that encompass books are for the older kids who aren't so much into these younger style books. I like to bring like chapter books, things such as the Treehouse series, or just series of books that we can continue. Every time I come over, we can read a chapter, 3 chapters, and when we're done with that book, we can move to the next book. So a lot of my kids like that, and think that, like, I also, with one of my kids who we do movie night every Friday night, he likes to watch series. So we have 3 series or 3 shows that we like to watch, 1 episode every time I see him. And we have made this like deal that outside of us watching it together, we don't watch it. So kind of we can do that with the books as well. As you're going to bed, you can read 3 chapters. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid is perfect for those kids who are in between these kind of books and those chapter books. So you can also do that. I would like to expand my library, so if you guys have any suggestions on books that you guys are reading, or reading with the kids that you babysit, or you know somebody's reading that you found are really good, I'd love to hear your suggestions down in the description below. Also, those books that some of my videos I've done are about read and recreate, so books that you can read and do an activity with. I think it's super important. You can just read a book and have that be that, but like towards bedtime, I know reading a book and going to bed, like that's that. But during the day, if you're reading books to kids, doing an activity or diving a little deeper into that book where you're really helping the children understand and comprehend what's going on in the book, I think is pretty important, super important. The I Spy books and the drawing books, those are an activity in themselves, so you can't do much outside of that, but most other books you can find some way to incorporate an activity or a game, or even just talk about it a little further. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.